Hello, everybody. It's Kanoa here with Mex123.com. Brand new Mex123.com. I've got Louie and Robert with me. Today, we're going to do a review video of some great information that's happening in Tijuana-Rosarito area, Baja California, Mexico. Hi, Louie. Hi, Robert.
Hey, Kanoa.
Hey, Kanoa, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Louie, you actually sent this to us, I don't know, late Saturday night, and I was excited. I didn't understand everything, so I was thinking, you know what, for our English viewers out there, how cool would it be for us to kind of go through this and explain to them in English what's going on? Because I think it is some big news for our area. So if anybody's living in Mexico, in the Baja area, northern Baja, around the Tijuana, Ensenada, Rosarito Beach area, I think they're going to want to hear this. This is going to be a game changer for the area if this ends up happening. I think it's going to bring a lot of people, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. It's going to bring a lot of change. It'll definitely be something that I think people can look forward to. I do believe they've been trying to pull this off for many years now, but I do think this actually is the first time I've seen it come at this level, and I'm excited to have you really explain to me what's happening. Before we get started, though, I want to let everyone know, if anybody out there is looking to sell real estate in the Rosarito Beach area, we are hiring agents. We're actually looking for partners more than hiring agents. Well, I guess Baja123.com is hiring agents right now. Mex123.com is looking for entrepreneurial kind of mindset people that want to come to Mexico. And this is for any part of Mexico that wants to become an agent or wants to partner and have kind of like a platform of a business in a box type of, coming down to sell real estate, or if you're already selling real estate here, to be part of one of the leading real estate teams in Mexico. Make sure to either contact us at the information we leave in the description, or send us a chat, an email, a phone call, however, a donkey, like I say.
Smoke signals.
Smoke signals,
Whatever's needed.
Let us know, right? Okay. Hey, before I want to take up too much time. So, Louie, do you remember hearing about this project previous, or is this the first time you've heard about it?
Well, this is the first time I'm actually hearing about it. There's two portions of this project, and one of them was talked about before, and it was quite popular, maybe I would say about 4 or 5 years ago. But this whole project about what we're going to talk about was the first time I'm hearing about it.
Okay, so let me guess. The project you heard about before was the theme park, correct?
All right, so you're doing. Can we say spoiler alert before we start?
Come on.
Yes, actually, you're right. We're going to be talking about two different projects, but I don't know if it's a combined project, a combined effort or not. But we're going to be discussing the Skytrain that will be connecting the Tijuana border with Rosarito on its phase 1. There's actually more exciting news coming with that, but the second project that they talked about in this video is the amusement park, which they haven't set the name, but
Right.
a few years ago, we had the really, really high expectations and hopes that Six Flags was going to come into town.
I remember that. Yep, exactly. But we don't know that, so we're not going to say that. So just erase that out of here. That didn't happen right now. We would love it if Six Flags came, or any theme park. But it could be like 7 flags, maybe, or 8 flags. It doesn't really matter to us.
See, that's the reason why I didn't want to say names, because it's really they never actually said the name. They just
Right.
kept on referring to it as an world-class
Yeah.
amusement park.
Yeah, what if
And
it
that's
was
what we're going to be
Disneyland,
referring
and
it
now
to.
you made them upset because you're telling it Six Flags and it was actually Disneyland. So
Well, we don't know if it's going to be Disneyland, if it's going to be
SeaWorld, who knows, right?
Knott's Berry Farm. Who knows?
There you go. All right, Lou,
All we know is going to be a world-class amusement park, and that's as far as we know.
Okay, well, go ahead and start the video, and if you would stop it every so often and let us know what they're talking about for those of us that don't speak Spanish.
Of course, I will do my best to translate.
All right.
El gobierno de Baja California presentó el proyecto Skytrain Baja, un tren eléctrico elevado que conectará a los municipios de Tijuana y Playas de Rosarito, el cual contará con 8 paradas y cubrirá una ruta de 21.6 kilómetros entre la garita de San Isidro y la zona centro de Playas de Rosarito.
Okay, so the first part of the video, they're introducing as part of an effort between a private party and the government of Baja California, the new project, which is the Skytrain of Baja, that will be connecting the border of or the two municipalities, which is Tijuana and Rosarito, and it will be building a train that will have 8 stations running from the border with the U.S. in Tijuana all the way down to downtown Rosarito and Rosarito Beach.
Excellent.
Por lo que se espera comenzar en 3 meses, aproximadamente en diciembre del 2022.
The cool thing is that they're saying that they're expecting to begin the work within the next 3 months, which is December of 2022.
Which is amazing. So they must have this plan for a while then. So they can't just like have something this big and go, okay, we're going to start it in 2 months or 3 months from now. They must have been planning this for a little while.
Seems like
Absolutely.
it works. Absolutely.
La obra se realizará mediante una alianza estratégica con la empresa GK Railway Corporation y el gobierno estatal, así que será financiada totalmente por la empresa y no representará un gasto para los ciudadanos, por lo que se invertirá entre 500 y 600 millones de dólares para adquirir vehículos, así como 3.000 millones de dólares.
Okay, this is interesting because they're saying that there is a private party that is in charge of the project. It is doing it in conjunction with the government of Baja California. However, all of the funding is private, and it's not going to cost the citizens any money or any investment from the state. They're going to be investing anywhere from $500 to $600 million in vehicles and transportation, and they're going to talk about the other number, which I think is $300 million for something else. But let me just.
And this doesn't have anything to do with the new border crossing too that they're building right now, right? I'm not sure if it's private, but the border crossing where they're going to be, I think, charging like a toll to get across for people that want to get across faster. Is this in conjunction?
Oh, that's the second Otay border crossing location. No, this has nothing to do with that. This is actually going to be connecting people at the San Isidro border.
Okay, all right.
Dólares en infraestructura, que incluye una estructura elevada de concreto armado, con 2 carriles en ambos sentidos para el servicio de transporte público.
So this is going to be an elevated structure, and they're going to be investing over $300 million in infrastructure to be able to build the elevated railway. It's going to have 1 lane going north and 1 lane going south.
So ultimately the goal, I mean, I guess probably they're going to talk about it later on in the video, but I'm sure that, San Isidro, I think, is the busiest border crossing in the world, right? As far as right? And so this would help alleviate some of that traffic, I think, by allowing people to walk across and not have to drive for all the people that are moving right now into Mexico or specifically into the Tijuana-Rosarito area. So they'd be able to just walk across, get on this train and go from Tijuana all the way to Rosarito, basically, right?
You're right. It is the busiest border crossing in the world. Just imagine the amount of people that are living down south of the border because of, whatever reasons, right? Quality of living, cost of living, etc. That are commuting daily back to the United States to work and to live in Mexico the rest of the time, right? Or the people that are coming down for special events like the Baja Fest that just happened a couple of weeks ago since the recording of this video. And there were more than 50,000 coming down to Rosarito Beach. Imagine if we had the infrastructure to bring those people in public transportation that's world-class quality. It would have made a big difference.
Well, because all the parking and everything. Not to have all those people drive down here. I know Robert probably can't relate that much because he only flies everywhere he goes. But for the people that do drive, I'm sure it's going to be a big relief.
Well, but it's true. Just remember, a couple of weeks ago when we had the big event, it was 2 weekends in a row. Over 50,000 people came down to Rosarito. Our infrastructure is not built for that. So you can only imagine the traffic that was, that happened during that weekend. It was brutal. And so this is going to alleviate a lot of that traffic.
It's such a successful event, though. They pulled it off. They were able to bring 50,000 people to Rosarito. Imagine, that is just incredible for the businesses. I know the rental prices went places they were charging $200 a night for rent. They were charging $800 and $900 a night for that event.
Oh, yeah.
So but
you know what? This is not the first time they do this. They've been doing it consecutively for maybe about 3 to 4 years. Obviously, because of the pandemic, they had to stop it once. Maybe they stopped it in 2021. And back in 2020, when they did the second, I believe it was the second time that they had the concert, they were only able to bring about 30,000 people to Rosarito. This time around, they brought 50,000 per concert, and it was 2 weekends in a row, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Incredible.
That was 100,000 people that came down.
100,000
That's
more
incredible.
people came.
Imagine the people that have rental units here that are renting out their units. They must have just been loving that weekend. That probably made their whole quarter.
Must have been a good week. Even better if there are people, if they are, or they have somebody that's helping them stay, current with events. Because I'm guessing some people might have slept on this one and missed it. But hopefully, all the smart, savvy people out there that own property did definitely benefit.
We were lucky enough to have a client that wasn't using one of their units, and they let us go there. We went there to watch the end of the show. It was one of the most incredible fireworks shows I've ever seen in my life. It was completely amazing. They had 3 boats out in the water, or at least it looked like 3 boats that were filled with fireworks that were just shooting them off right off the coastline. And it was just an incredible ending of a show. I mean, come on, you have 50,000 people here. That everyone, as far as I can tell, everybody had a great time, and it was a very successful event. But let's get back to the video.
Las estaciones contarán con vigilancia, internet, aire acondicionado, baños, áreas verdes, estacionamiento para bicicletas, zonas peatonales y contará con protocolos de atención para las mujeres que lo utilicen.
Okay, this is actually quite fascinating because the installations are going to be available for people with disabilities. They're going to have special services for women that travel by themselves. They're going to have AC, internet. Obviously, they're going to have bathrooms. The stations are going to feature bathrooms as well, and parking for bikes. So they are really expecting people, because crossing the border with a bike is probably going to be a lot easier than trying to come in with a car. So, this is going to be a huge impact in.
So what do they mean about women crossing by themselves? Because I know that's something that would be interesting to understand how they would help facilitate, and and I guess for safety reasons, right?
No, women traveling by themselves. So because in other cities like Mexico City, the subway has a specific wagon for women, right? So if women are traveling by themselves during the day or at night, there's a specific wagon that. Yeah, it's for their security and protection.
That is wonderful. That's cool. That's really smart thinking. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. And also, I mean, I think besides the air conditioning, which is probably the main cool thing, the other thing that I liked is that there's going to be Wi-Fi or internet on the train as well. So someone could, either entertain themselves during their travel, or get some work done, and even maybe get on some calls for Zoom or whatever as well.
I'm going to get one of those Starlink backpacks, I think, and just have like Wi-Fi.
Just have it with you.
5G, I think. I just like anybody around me, I'll be a walking hotspot. So.
Just on a side note before we continue with the video, but it is really cool that Starlink just signed a contract with T-Mobile in the US to be able to connect cell phones to their internet service, their satellite internet service.
I heard they're rolling that out. They're going to start with messages, and then they're going to go to voice, and then they'll end up doing data. So I think that that's something for anybody that's a global traveler like you, Robert, can look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if they install those on Lear jets or not, but if they do, you're going to need to get one on your jet.
I guess I'll get one of those, or one of those old big block phones, just to have a retro feel, but with all the new technology inside of it.
I don't know. Kanoa is very famous for selling those type of cell phones.
That's true. Maybe
that's a whole other story, guys. Another video.
Dig through the vault and find me one.
All right, let me continue playing the video.
En el evento de la presentación del proyecto Skytrain Baja, el CEO de GK Railway, Jesús Alfredo Acosta, detalló que el proyecto consiste en un tren elevado que irá de la Garita San Isidro a la entrada de Playas de Rosarito, pasando por Puerta México, Avenida Madero, Boulevard Fundadores, el Libramiento Rosas Magallón y la carretera a Rosarito.
So they're basically saying that during the event, the CEO of Railway Corporation, which is the company that's in charge of building this project, talked about where the stations are going to be, and they're going to be literally going to start at the border crossing and then moving its way down all the way through the free road to Rosarito.
So it'll have multiple stops along the way. So
Eight stations in total.
8 stations going down through Tijuana, probably through Playas, I would assume.
No, they're going along the free road. So it's coming the back way, but it'll go through some very important, I guess, spots, so that allows people to use this as a commuter.
For a lot of people that are living in Mexico that are working in San Diego, this would be a great feature too. They can just get on the train, live anywhere in this northern section, and then just commute to work in San Diego, jump off there and probably grab an Uber and get to their job.
Kind of reminds me of how some people do that in New York, Connecticut, in the States. There's a train. A lot of people commute to New York City on a daily basis just for work, and then return to like a more peaceful or
nobody owns a car there in New York.
Yeah, right.
It's all taxi cabs and subways. Yeah.
Right.
But there was something that Kanoa said in the beginning that there's a great migration happening right now, and there's a lot of people looking at Mexico for living purposes. And there are so many kids going across the border to go to school on a daily basis. So it's not just about work. It's not just the working class that's coming down and living here. It's all kinds of people, including families that have kids that go to school in the U.S. So this is going to be a great alternative for them to commute back and forth on a daily basis to the U.S.
I didn't even think about that, Louis, because I was saying it was about great for the people coming into Mexico, but it's also great for the people living in Mexico that are going to San Diego.
Exactly.
So it's going to work both ways.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Indicó que con este sistema de transporte el tiempo de traslado será de 30 minutos y se prevé que atienda a 140,000 usuarios al día, en donde
Okay, that is important. So what they're seeing is that this is going to be able to take people from point A to point Z, which is Rosarito, in 30 minutes. So within 30 minutes, you're going to be able to go back and forth from the U.S. or the U.S. border to Rosarito Beach, and it's going to be attending 140,000 people a day.
My God, that's wonderful. I think that's great. Great for the economy, great for the area. I think anybody that's buying properties here, working here, living here, and in San Diego. So I think it's going to be great for both sides because you can get off of this and then get on the trolley in San Diego and go to most places throughout San Diego on the San Diego transportation system. So I think it's going to be great for everybody.
Now that you're saying it, I think I've heard maybe about a year ago or a year and a half ago, a project where they were thinking of extending the trolley service down to Mexico, which I didn't think it was going to be possible because the trolley is being run by a U.S. corporation anyway. Maybe that was born out of that idea to where you can have transportation like this with this quality all the way to the border, and then once you go across the border, just hop on the trolley and literally super easy to get around San Diego using the trolley.
Absolutely. The trolley system goes pretty much all throughout. I think all the way. I mean, you can take the trolley and they got the San Diego train there that if you want to jump on and get all the way down to Los Angeles, it'll take you to Los Angeles. I didn't think past Los Angeles. Now they go all the way up north, maybe even to Santa Barbara. So maybe most of Southern California now all the way to Rosarito Beach. You could be taking trains and trolley.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, that is really cool.
el servicio a menores de 4 años y mayores de 60 años de edad.
Okay, so that was also interesting. They're saying that the service is going to be free for kids under 4 years old, but also for adults 60 years old and older, which opens up the possibilities for a lot of people to travel and use this for free.
El director comentó que la construcción iniciará en 90 días y generará entre 8 y 10,000 empleos directos, por lo que se concluirá en 2025.
This project is going to generate anywhere from 8 to 10,000 jobs, and they are planning to conclude it in 2025.
La primera fase sería inaugurada en 2 años. Por su parte, la gobernadora de Baja California, Marina del Pilar, expuso que el gobierno participa en los trámites para entregar los terrenos propiedad del estado donde se construirá el tren, ya que el 95% de la construcción del tren se hará sobre terreno estatal y 5% sobre federal.
So 95% of the land that's going to be used for the construction is coming from the state, and 5% of the land is coming from the Fed. So there's no private land where this is going to be built on. So the government is already, our governor is already in or authorizing the construction of this project in whatever it is that's going to be controlled by the state.
So I'm curious, is it the governor or the mayor that, I mean,
Is the governor of Baja
I think it
California.
has to be the governor. Yeah, because this is going from city to city, so it's got to be the,
Okay.
well, governor
Interesting.
maybe with mayor
Well,
participation.
because I'm
or-
sure they have to have a collaboration between all three of those
Right.
mayors and the governor to get.
That's, yeah, that's a good point.
Definitely gonna need the governor, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, the governor is the one that's involved in the project. So it's the state government that's running in conjunction with the private party. They're building this together.
So Louis, is this similar to what they're doing over there in Cancun? Or is this completely different?
No, it's different because in Cancun, you're talking about the Mayan train. That is a multi-state project, so that's run by the federal government. And that's the president of Mexico running that project, which over here, it is just inside of the state, so it's not crossing any boundaries. So it's only the government of Baja California that's involved.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Resaltó que la infraestructura y el equipamiento que tendrá el tren elevado contará con todos los elementos necesarios para garantizar una accesibilidad universal para todas las personas con discapacidad, especialmente las 37,000 que habitan en el polígono de beneficio directo del tren.
They're talking about how the construction is going to feature, obviously, modern installations for the disability or people with disabilities.
So are they gonna be creating new, I guess, like stations, like where they're gonna be, like boarding stations, I guess, for the train? I guess they would have to, huh? So
Yeah, they're going to be building two main stations, one at the border and one in Rosarito downtown. And then the other ones are going to be substations, so that people can get on and off.
Okay.
Cabe mencionar que el proyecto Skytrain Baja también contempla que en la C-Tram de Rosarito habrá un parque de diversiones de clase mundial con un área habitacional y en el C-Tram
Okay, so this is where they're talking about the main station in Rosarito is going to feature a world-class amusement park along with the residential area next to it.
Wow, okay. And so, but they're saying it's part of the same project or it's separate?
That's the confusing part because I watched a longer video. It was like a 40-minute presentation from the CEO of Railway, and he said that it was a separate project, but yet they're announcing it in this video. So I'm not sure if it's
Well, you
together
know
or
why,
not.
and this will just be my bet, and it's an opinion, of course, is that the amusement park, they're gonna need this railway to support the amusement park and the people that they're gonna wanna bring to it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that wanna cross back and forth because of work, but the amusement park having this as the transportation to bring everyone from San Diego to this amusement park is probably gonna be, it's gonna be hand in hand. So I'm sure that they're tying this in together, but that's just my opinion.
Right, and I mean, if you think about it, the two amusement parks that most people go to in California are Disney and Six Flags. You obviously have Knott's Berry Farm, you have SeaWorld, but I think if they're referring to an amusement park, you want to be closer to the amusement park. It would be Rosarito as opposed to Six Flags, which is a little bit
And they're
longer
gonna wanna
ride.
bring the people from San Diego. I mean, San Diego is a world-class destination for people all around the world. So I'm sure as people land and come to visit San Diego, they can come jump on that train and come to the amusement park from, not just the Southern California and people from Northern Baja, but also people from all around the world as they're landing in San Diego, spending a couple weeks there. They're gonna probably market to them to come down to this amusement park, and they're not gonna have cars, or they wanna feel comfortable crossing the border. It'll probably be easy for them to take the trolley and then walk across and jump on this train and get to the amusement park.
And not having to drive your car down and have to buy insurance for your car for the day and understanding where to park. I mean, it'll make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like we were saying, if these two projects are linked, but what I do know is that at least in the Disney parks in Florida, they use a SkyTrain to
Yeah.
get around. So I don't know if that is any kind of coincidence or
It's a
not.
monorail or something, right?
Right. Yeah. So I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but
Well,
who
this is
knows?
planned to be a monorail, and that's the reason why it's called the SkyTrain. But it is
Well,
going
yeah,
to be a
that's
monorail.
yeah. So it's like Disney's already
Oh,
built
so it
into
might
it.
be
So
Disneyland. Are there
I
clues?
say this is just
Are there
opinion only,
clues?
but the clues are telling me something, I guess, and it's just an opinion.
You
But
would hate for Six Flags to take the
oh
monorail.
no, I'm good with that. I grew up like maybe 30 minutes from Six Flags. I'm
All right.
good with Six
Either
Flags
one.
too.
So you can go Disney or you can go Six Flags, no matter which one it is.
Yeah.
Or Universal Studios, who knows? But once again, we're speculating, so people that are watching this video.
If we throw out every park, we'll get it. We'll at least get it right.
Exactly.
Tram de la garita de San Isidro habrá dos rascacielos, uno de 80 pisos mínimo y el otro de 60 pisos.
So at the border station, there's going to be two skyscrapers, one that's going to be 80 stories high, and the other one that's going to be 60 stories high.
So they're building new buildings with this too?
Mm-hmm. Residential buildings, and I'm not sure if they're going to incorporate offices. I don't see why not. 60 stories and 80 stories.
Yeah, one was 80 stories.
That would be the tallest in Tijuana and around the area. I think up to LA, I think. I don't know how big is the highest skyscraper in LA, but I think it will be one of the tallest.
It is pretty significant.
Well, that's what I heard. So let's just continue watching the video and see if we can hear anything different.
Además se dio un acuerdo en donde la empresa GK Railway entregará 12 camiones eléctricos al gobierno del estado, los primeros 6 ya están listos y los que restan se encuentran en fase de ensamblado.
So besides the project, the private company Railway is also going to be giving the state of California 12 electric cars or buses, 6 which are ready to be delivered, and the other ones are in construction.
Is it maybe like for the transportation authorities to like patrol these in electric cars?
I don't know. They haven't been very clear. Like I said, I watched the other video, the 40-minute one, and they talked about the buses. They actually look pretty cool, but it looks like they're more for public transportation. So they probably are going to be replacing some of the older vehicles that are being used in Tijuana, which is right now, 1.5 or 1.7 million people now living in Tijuana. And so it'll make it, better, I guess, for the environment.
Yeah, cool.
Explicaron que la flotilla de vehículos eléctricos tendrá como destino el Valle de Mexicali y el resto para Tijuana.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that video actually described that the electric vehicles are going to be used to transport people to the Mexicali Valley, and the rest is for Tijuana.
For the Mexicali Valley. So they're going to be pulling people from Mexicali so they'll be able to come here. Is that it?
Probably. Because I'm thinking maybe it does have something to do with the amusement park. So
yeah, sounds like it. So they want to be able to bring people from Mexicali. Well, there's so many people that come here already from Mexicali during the summer months anyways.
Exactly. And I was going to say, because you got Calexico right next to it. So Calexico and Mexicali people are going to be able to come down easier.
Wow. There's a lot of changes coming. How exciting.
Yeah, very cool.
Esta es la ruta en la primera fase que se está desarrollando, que es Puerta México. Así le denominamos nosotros porque vuelvo y...
So this is a portion of the 40-minute presentation that the CEO did regarding this project. And if you can, as you can see in his current slide, those are the stations that are going to be built. And as you can see, Kanoa, it's actually taking the free road into Rosarito. So it's coming from the border inland to Rosarito Beach. So I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but my mouse is going to highlight, or my video editor is going to point where the Rosarito, it's actually very close to downtown Rosarito. Not sure exactly where, because the image is a little bit blurry, but it's very close to the actual downtown area.
Yeah. How much you want to bet it's going to be close to the Rosarito Beach Hotel?
No, I think if I'm thinking this correctly, it could probably be by the Baja Center, which is the convention center. It makes more sense because that's where the space was designated for the previous amusement park that we're going to be building. Land, and they're developing the residential area relatively quickly. So my feeling is it's probably going to be around that area, because that's where the free road merges into Rosarito downtown.
Insistir, es la Puerta de México. Puerta México cruza la canalización, viene a través de la avenida Madero, luego por Boulevard Fundadores, el libramiento Rosas Magallón, la carretera libre Tijuana-Rosarito y playas de Rosarito. Esta es Pues básicamente la ruta que va a tomar el tren, que es aproximadamente de 21 kilómetros.
So it's about 21 kilometers distance between the first station to the last station in Rosarito downtown. It's going to be about 21 kilometers. And basically, he just named the rest of the stations.
Va a haber aproximadamente un efecto de 500,000 personas beneficiadas, no solo por los empleos directos que vamos a generar, que va a ser entre 8 y 10,000 empleos directos y aproximadamente 7 veces más los indirectos, sino por todo el beneficio que hacemos en cuanto al transporte y a la movilidad y a la calidad de vida, que se van a ahorrar bastantes tiempos.
So basically, he's talking about how 50,000 people are going to be positively affected by the construction of this project. Not only about the 8 to 10,000 people that are going to be able to get jobs, but also because of the people that are in the surrounding areas, economically speaking, and transportations. In this slide, you can see 50,000 people benefiting from this project and over 140,000 people daily that is potentially going to be using this service.
Sino por todo el beneficio que hacemos en cuanto al transporte y a la movilidad y a la calidad de vida, que se van a ahorrar bastantes tiempos. ¿Sí? Nosotros vamos aproximadamente en esta primera etapa, sin contar el flujo turístico, sino contando el puro flujo urbano, aproximadamente a 70,000.
So in this slide, they're continuing to talk about the benefits of this project. And obviously they're saying it's going to save a lot of time for people that are commuting back and forth from these places, you can get from point A to point B up to 30 minutes. And then it's going to save about 50% of the expenses that a normal family would incur in transportation costs. Obviously, because of the technology being clean technology and the most updated technology that they can use, or modern technology, is going to make the quality of life better.
Personas día sentido, ¿no? Lo que nos da una movilidad de 140,000 personas aproximadamente por día. Los tiempos de traslado desde origen a destino van a ser aproximadamente en 30 minutos, con un ahorro familiar de casi el 50% del gasto. Nosotros en todos nuestros proyectos y en todos nuestros sistemas que tenemos, tanto en el país como en Latinoamérica, nunca cobramos el boleto a niños menores de 4 años ni a gente mayor de 60. ¿Sí?
So he just basically said and repeated what I said earlier, but also to add to it, he's saying that within their corporation, any projects that they've built before, in not just in Mexico, but in all of Latin America, they don't ever charge fees for children under 4 years old and adults that are 60 years and older.
Esa es una regla de la empresa, estemos donde estemos, ¿sí? Obviamente somos representantes de las más importantes empresas de material rodante en el país y del mundo. La mayoría son asiáticas y europeas.
So he's saying that they're the biggest importers of moving technology in Mexico, but also outside of Mexico as well. They bring a lot of the technology from Asia and Europe.
¿En dónde estamos? Actualmente terminamos ya el 100% de la topografía, como lo pueden constatar en el plan maestro de obra que acabamos de entregar el día 30.
So they just finished the topography project. They finished it and they deliver it to the government.
Right there, if I'm looking at that photo, is that right where it turns on from the beach to go into downtown Rosarito? So is that the convention center area that we're looking at? Or what is that?
No, I think it's the area where they're going to be building. So if you see in the next screen, that's the U.S. border line. Where my mouse is where the U.S. border line. So I think they needed to do a study in the land that's going to be connecting Tijuana and Rosarito, and off of the topography of the land, and they just went and submitted that study. But I think it's still the back road.
La hidrología también ya está terminada de todo el trazo. La geotecnia está terminada casi en un 40%. Yo creo que
So the rest of the studies, the hydrology study and the other technical study, they're almost done as well. The technological one is about 40% done.
Como en unos 40 días más ya estará terminada al 100%, lo que nos dará paz.
But all the studies are going to be finished in around 40 days from when they, obviously did this conference.
a terminar las primeras fases del proyecto ejecutivo aproximadamente en 60 días y arrancar la obra aproximadamente en 90 días.
So that means that in about 60 days, they're going to be able to finish the executive project, and then within 90 days, they're going to begin breaking ground.
Is that Bart Simpson? I can't see.
I was wondering what's going on with the
Yeah, 'cause
Simpsons.
that
It's
might
not
be
Bart.
blue.
It's
That
not
might
Bart
be
Simpson,
blue
but
right
it is
there,
a
guys.
Simpson.
I'm not sure if it's Bart Simpson. It's definitely one of the Simpsons. Not sure exactly
Something
who,
from the
but it's.
Simpsons, yeah.
Which theme park has the Simpsons?
That is,
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'll tell you, it's gonna be. I'm almost positive it's Universal that does.
Universal
Oh,
Studios, huh?
Universal. Really?
Yeah, they've got a Simpsons ride. I'm pretty sure it's them. I'm like 90% sure.
I didn't even
The only
think
thing is, I'm not sure if that's just a wall or an advertisement of some sort,
Right.
and so that's
All
maybe
right,
like
I
a
won't get
mock-up.
excited. All right.
Estos son los tipos de material rodante que vamos a utilizar. Todavía no tenemos la certeza plena de qué marca y qué modelo es el que vamos a utilizar, ya que depende de los últimos estudios del proyecto ejecutivo para que podamos ver la potencia, sobre todo las pendientes de Boulevard Fundadores, ¿no?
So they still haven't decided exactly what model of the car they're going to be using, and that all depends on the studies being finished because of the inclination of the land, especially around the Plan Libertador area. They just need to make sure that they use the right type of cars. So they're waiting for the executive project to be finished to determine what cars they're going to be using.
Bueno, quise mostrar una copia de, ya cumplimos, gobernadora, con el primer proceso.
So obviously he's talking to the governor saying, this is in a way for me to show you that we are meeting our commitments to submit everything to the government, and it's already been received by the government.
Para que luego no vaya a decir que, no, ahí está integrada y todo.
Because I guess the governor is being really tough on them, so he's trying to show her, that they are committing to doing everything the right way.
También para mí es un honor enseñarle que ya están los primeros 6 camiones eléctricos fabricados en China. Los próximos 6 estarán terminados en 15 días y los...
So those are pictures of the actual electric buses that are given to the city of Tijuana. Six of them have been delivered, and the other 6 are going to be within 15 days of the publication of that video.
Embarcamos los 12 juntos para que lleguen antes del 30 de octubre aquí. Esto es una contraprestación que se estableció en la concesión, entonces pues también ya estamos cumpliendo, ¿no?
This was part of the negotiation to be able to obtain the concession. So they're letting her know that they're committing and turning over what they promised.
Le presento un render inicial de cómo va a quedar el CETRAN de Rosarito.
Okay, so this is an initial rendering of where and how the station, the Rosarito station, is going to look like. Now we can speculate.
So now I'm trying to see anything that looks familiar, but I'm not really seeing anything here. Do you?
Let me see, because I think this is right before you come into Rosarito. By the cows. I think it's the land by the cows. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because look at this is
coming right across, right? Which
towards
would
the
make
bottom.
sense, because I know they can't use the land by the cows for probably anything right now because they can't build residential, and I know they've been trying to sell that property for a while. So that would make sense why they would put a train there to go right through that land, which would cut right across towards the ocean, it looks like, right?
Probably. So maybe we can ask our editor to maybe pull up a Google map and kind of show us what's around the area, zooming in and zooming out and identifying that specific point, because that's what's basically going to tell us where things are going to be located. But on the right side, you guys can see the rendering of where or how the train station is going to look like. So you can see the parking, you can see the structure, but behind it, you can see some tall buildings that it could be the residential buildings that we're talking about in the beginning, not the skyscrapers.
If it does head over there towards the convention center, you got to figure the whole coastline there. That was all planned, I think, at one point to have a lot of hotels and buildings building, and the beach there is absolutely incredible. Like, it's such a wide, beautiful beach, and it really is just in a great area. And I know it's just ripe for development. So if they get this over there, I'm sure that whole plot of land over there by the convention center and that whole beach coastline is probably going to get developed with like towers and hotels and restaurants and everything to support all these people that are coming in.
Because at some point, that's where basically they were going to do, and that's where they were planning on building the amusement park and the residential area and the hotel. So what you're talking about is the original plan for the amusement park that was going to be built in Rosarito.
Maybe
But if you
that's
can
where,
see,
like,
I
Sunny
think
Brew, right? And it's
these
going
two
towards
roads
all
are, I think this is the road that connects to the highway, and this is the road that connects to the main boulevard. So yeah, I think it's very, very close to what you're describing, Kanoa.
right, so because it could cut right towards, which would make sense. Why not bring people in towards the convention center, put the amusement park by the convention center? They have all that space there to develop, and plus the potential to develop all the businesses that could be potentially be built over in that area as well.
Well, that's for being an initial rendering, I mean, that looks really nice. It's gonna turn out to be one of the best projects that we've ever seen in Rosarito.
Yeah.
Aquí vamos a iniciar nosotros.
So this is the second station from Rosarito, which is by Plan Libertador, which is the entrance of the Rosarito municipality, and that's that looks like it's going to be one of the stations.
El tren de Rosarito va a contar con un área comercial, un nuevo parque de diversiones, que le voy a dar la sorpresa aproximadamente en unos 15 días, ya firmado.
So what he's saying is the main station in Rosarito is going to have not only residential but commercial areas, and also an amusement park that he said that within 15 days of the publication of that video, they were going to be able to give out the name of that amusement park in writing.
Wow, that's like could be any day now.
Yeah, it could be, because I think this video is maybe about 4 or 5 days old. So maybe a week and a half, we'll know.
We're gonna have to take bets on that, you guys. So after the video's
Yes,
over,
tell me where to put tell me where to send my guesses, my bets to.
I'm assuming SeaWorld is out of the question.
Louis, I'm putting you down for SeaWorld.
Big bet from Louis on SeaWorld. I'm hearing what I'm hearing.
I don't know, Legoland, Knott's Berry Farm.
Legoland.
Knott's Berry Farm could be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Le voy a decir qué marca pero es un parque de diversiones de clase mundial. De esos que nomás hay 2 en el mundo y este sería el tercero.
Okay, so this is interesting because he just said it's going to be a world-class amusement park, and I will give you the name in a few days. But there are only 2 in the world of these kind of parks, and this is going to be the 3rd one. So kind of rules out Six Flags, because I think there are more than 2.
It rules Disney too, because Disney's got international, like in Paris.
Right.
I think, but it doesn't rule out
Universal.
Universal. I think only has 2. I only know of one in Orlando. I don't know if is there one in.
There's one in California and Los Angeles, I think,
that's,
isn't it?
That's what I was thinking. That actually, you're right. So
Yeah, I'm putting my money down on Universal.
I say I'm liking where Universal's going, or I'm liking the Universal option right now.
Well, and did you say that that's where the Simpsons were? So maybe they were giving us a hint. I don't know.
That could have been. You're right.
Clues, all clues.
All right, let me just keep on playing. You can see people are speculating already.
Va a tener un área residencial. Acabamos de hacer un convenio con una de las inmobiliarias más importantes del estado para también ahí hacer un gran proyecto.
So they just signed an agreement with one of the biggest developers in the state to build a residential area.
We're gonna have a lot of real estate to be sold. We need agents. So anybody out there looking to be real estate agents, make sure to give us a call.
There's going to be towers of properties.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for agents.
You know, when the developer of La Jolla decided to build La Jolla Excellence, there was a big opportunity, and a lot of the agents took that opportunity, made a lot of money selling a small development like La Jolla. I'm sure Yeah, and I was just going to say, this is, I mean, La Jolla Excellence is a 5-tower development with 140 villas. But I imagine that this is going to be even on a larger scale, and we're going to have, impressive towers. We're going to have commercial spaces.
Going to have to move to Rosarito.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I might need a.
He doesn't have to fly in. I don't know if they have a big enough airport for him, though.
Just find me a patch of land, and I'll make it happen.
Land your plane on.
Del Plan Libertador. Luego, para nosotros es una estación insignia, que es la estación Santa Fe, ya que aquí vamos a movilizar aproximadamente entre 30 y 35 mil personas al día. ¿Sí?
That's the Santa Fe station. Santa Fe is a very close place to Rosarito. I mean, it's a small city. It really seems like it's a small city. It's comprised of like 3 sections and commercial areas, residential areas. But it's going to affect about 35,000 people in the area because they utilize transportation to go back and forth from Rosarito to Tijuana. They're kind of stuck in between Tijuana and Rosarito, so these people are going to be, positively affected by the train, by the construction.
Luego viene la estación Morelos, la estación Rubí. Aquí la estación Aguacaliente también es un importante nodo vehicular y afluencia de pasaje, ya que entre los compañeros transportistas y nosotros nos vamos a retroalimentar. Esto es algo muy importante. Luego la estación Madero, que la idea es aquí vitalizar el gran centro histórico de Tijuana.
So right now, the other stations that he talked about are around the Tijuana area. There's one that's a kind of important, which is the Agua Caliente, which is going to be in part of the nicest areas in Tijuana. There's a lot of rich people living in that area. So I like the fact that you're going to be able to connect from one place to another without having to take, either drive a car 20, 30 minutes in traffic to get to Tijuana's nicest parts. So you're going to have this transportation take you there, which is nice. And what we're going to look at right now is the skyscrapers that were discussed earlier in the video. So I'm going to play the video and then I'll explain to you.
Y bueno, la joya de la corona, nuestra Puerta México. Vamos a tener ahí 2 grandes rascacielos, uno de 80 pisos mínimo y el otro de 60. Con esto tendríamos el rascacielos más grande. Ni en Los Ángeles ni en San Diego hay un rascacielos de ese tamaño. Y ya estamos en el proyecto, en el cálculo estructural que se va a terminar aproximadamente en 8 meses. Pero sí, así se va a ver ahora nuestra Puerta México. Así.
So that's the station, the door to Mexico. And that's going to feature 2 skyscrapers, one which is at least 80 stories high, and the other one is at least 60 stories high. What he said is going to be one of the largest projects and one of the largest tallest buildings in all of the closed areas, which is including LA and San Diego. These are going to be some of the tallest buildings around the area. So I don't know if that's true. If there is anybody that knows if there's a skyscraper that's more than 60 stories or 80 stories high in LA, let me know. But otherwise, what he claims is going to be one of the tallest buildings.
Así nos van a ver ahora que entren del lado americano hacia México. Nunca más.
Now, that's what the border is going to look like now. So they're basically talking about integrating the border crossing along with the train station. They're going to be basically building a modern, very cool looking border entry. And so what he's saying is that
border crossing to us, or this will be the same one.
They're going to be modernizing the border crossing, and they're going to integrate the station into the border crossing. So what he's saying is that it no longer will be just like a regular, door and revolving door, like they used to have at the border. This is what the building is going to look like, or at least the rendering of what the building is going to look like. And they're trying to make the border crossing a more, modern, beautiful looking border crossing on the Mexico side.
That is very nice.
Nos van a volver a decir nadie que en México no se puede. ¡Viva México! ¡Viva Tijuana! ¡Y viva su gobernador!
And that's pretty much it. You know, this is actually a very cool looking project. I'm very happy to see Tijuana-Rosarito, Baja really putting a lot of effort into building this project. And I'm gonna tell you, because like I said, I was watching the 45-minute video, and in the 45-minute video, they were talking about a second phase. This is going to be phase one, which is going to be completed, or at least they plan on completing it in 2025. But the second phase is going to be building train stations all the way to the Guadalupe Valley, which is going to make it even more enticing, because now it's going to be connecting two of the most biggest tourist destination in Baja, which is, you know, Rosarito Beach, and now Guadalupe Valley.
Yeah, very cool. And I mean, what seems to me, I know it's just renderings and a lot of projections and predictions, but it seems definitely like a world-class project to me, from what I can tell.
And you know what? It's about time. We've been here for a long time, Louis. And we were watching all the developments happening in Cancun and Cabo and Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta and all this construction. And we're going, okay, what's going on with Rosarito, right? Where's all the development coming? So I am so glad to see the opportunity come to the area. The people here deserve it. The area deserves it. You know, everybody on both sides of the border deserve it. So I'm really glad to see some attention and some money being put into this area. I think it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the biggest letdowns, was not seeing Rosarito grow. And I think this kind of projects makes the city going to look beautiful. It's going to make it modern. It's going to make it enticing. And for that great migration, all the people that are moving down here are going to finally see the value that is like living in Rosarito, which is, to me, is the best of both worlds. I lived in San Diego before. I lived in Mexico City before. And I got to tell you, I've been the happiest. One of my happiest places to be in right now is Rosarito Beach, second to Cancun, obviously.
We won't tell them what
Oh,
island
yeah,
you're hanging out on.
yeah.
You know, but the thing is that it's interesting. You're talking about the great migration that's happening. All these people that are leaving California and coming to Mexico right now. But in all the oceanfront properties are going to be gone, so they're going to have to now start construction along the inlands, right, along the hillsides now. So I would expect that all these people are going to start bringing in even more construction into the area besides along the coastline too. So I think there's probably a lot of opportunity. Great place to buy real estate right now. Great place to
And you
sell.
know what? One of the things too is that once we start seeing some high rises being built, the city skyline is going to look completely different. Because we're finally going to get to those, you know, maybe attract some developers that are going to want to invest in building some high rise condos, or, you know, better looking, modern looking buildings like in San Diego. I've always loved the way San Diego looks from the Coronado Island. You know, that whole area just looks beautiful, and hopefully Rosarito will be like that in one day. We're still, you know, years away from that happening, but it is happening, and this is maybe the first step of that happening.
Well, I want to thank you guys very much for spending this last hour or more. I don't even know how long it's been. It's been a while, spending that time with us, Louis, for translating this video for all of us that don't speak Spanish. Robert, thank you for coming in and participating on this video. And
Absolutely,
from all of us
absolutely.
here at mex123.com, we say thank you very much, and have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Goodbye, everybody.